Hey, what's up, everybody? Today is Friday, and another Friday means another chapter of My Hero Academia. And this week we have chapter 220. Uh, I'd say that this is probably one of those more realistic chapters of My Hero Academia, where we actually get to see the League of Villains in like a realistic kind of situation. And to expand on that more, this chapter gives us backstory to the fight that we see at the end of chapter 219. And what we have is we have the reason as to what led up to the fight that we see at the end of chapter 219. And at the start of this chapter, we see Shigaraki and the League of Villains come. They're coming in and to this kind of church-like cult where their name is the Church of Racial Cleanliness. And what they believe in, as to say, their philosophy is that people who are like mutant type humans who have physical mutations such as like Spinner are looked at as inferior. And you know, we figure when I first read this, I was like, oh, what these guys do to land on their radar? They just wiping out some people that they think is scum. No, they're actually here to rob these people and take any valuables they have to sell for money. So this chapter is mainly from the point of view of Spinner and how he's seeing the league as it is now. So Shigaraki is pretty depressed ever since like the loss of uh the guy who was his warp gate and the guy and All For One. And since then he's been like kind of looking at the situation as you can see, he grew his hair out longer in this chapter. And he seems to have like zero motivation as to what to do, how to lead the team, or anything like that. He actually, and actually, that's what the chapter mainly is about. After robbing them and looking through their valuables, they found that they have nothing worth of any. They have nothing of any worth. Basically, they just, you know, these weren't good people anyways, but basically they just murdered these people and didn't they still don't have anything to show for it. They're basically failing again. So it's been failure after failure at this point. And Spinner, he starts to question like what the group is, and he's saying like, he joined because of he wanted to follow Stain's ideology. And he's saying specifically that the way things have been going, that they're not even, they're more so like a club, and they haven't been doing anything to change society at all. And he's actually calling Shigaraki out on this, and he's saying like, you're supposed to be our leader. What are you doing? Like he actually gets up in Shigaraki's face and grabs him by like the collar and stuff, and he's like, yeah. And what actually he said he can't understand that the rut that they're in, and how he thought that they were going to change the world. And he questions where the group is headed. Like he's saying at this point, like I said, that they're basically like a club with no direction, and they're just, adults playing bad guys. And Shigaraki's been saying like, oh yeah, we don't have any power. Like what we don't have All For One. We don't have the warp gate. What is there to do? And he, throughout the chapter, he mentions like, well, there is like one power left, but is it even time to use that? Is it even worth using right now? And after mentioning it so much, we actually, at the end of the chapter, well, towards the end, we find out who that power actually is, and it's the dude named like Giganto or something. And he shows up and first thing he's like, so you're the successor of All for One, and Shigaraki he kind of just like looks up. He's like, oh, is this the guy? Is this the guy we've been waiting for? And he like takes off the hand off his face and looking at him and stuff. And the dude basically calls him out. He's like, yeah, this is a poor excuse for a successor. Like, what do you, like, if I'm going to follow you, if I'm going to, fight for you, I'm going to have to see something. I need to test, like, if you're actually worthy. So the fight that he's actually doing with these guys is to see if they're worthy of being, of him following them. And Shigaraki is just so like he's just like, what, like, what are you talking about? I'm not trying to do any of that. And like even after this dude like flings Mr. Compress around, like he like just smacks him across the, it's not a room. He just smacks him across the ground, and he starts like screaming and bawling his eyes out. And he's like, "Why, master? Like, why do you actually pick Shigaraki to be his successor and stuff like that?" And he's going on and on about like what are we gonna do with him? Like this guy isn't he isn't worth a damn. And Shigaraki is like so over all of this shit because he's just like he sits there, no expressions. He's not even tripping. He's not bothered. Like when he first met Dabi and Togata, Togata. When he first met Dabi and Togata, he was like, he actually got annoyed with them, and all Dabi did was like not give his last name, and he got annoyed with him and like started, trying to fight with him. But this guy just showed up, slapped his crew around, and he's just still sitting there. His head's in a whole nother place, and he's thinking about the doctor. I'm not sure which doctor he's actually thinking of, but he's thinking about the doctor. Well, probably the doctor who actually worked with All for One, to do with the really bushy beard, or whatever. But that's where this chapter ends. And again, it was a really good chapter as to thinking about you get to see the League of Villains in a completely different mindset. You see them broken, so to speak, without any morale at all since the loss of their leader. And I'm curious to see like with this new guy, what are they gonna do? Like, yeah, what are we gonna see from them in the next arc, if anything at all? Because I know right now we're focusing on the Liberation Army, Quirk Liberation Army. So maybe they go up against them, maybe not. But all in all, it was a pretty regular chapter. Nothing too crazy or interesting. Nothing that really stands out too much. Just you really get to see them depressed. But if you actually made it to this far into the video, I'd like to say, for one, thank you. Two, if you liked anything I had to say, feel free to like or subscribe. And three, wherever you are, no matter the day or time, hope you have a wonderful day and peace.